Hello and welcome back to the COD Feed, the show where we talk to you about this weekend's best and worst in the CDL. I'm Scooch.
And I'm John.
And before we get into it, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you for getting us to 66 subscribers. 75%, actually no, 69% of you now are not subscribed. So please subscribe and get us to 69 subs.
We want that number to be 0.
The percentage of you that aren't, not the subscriber count. Anyway, all right, so let's just jump into it. We have a lot to talk about for this weekend because it was the event, Major 2, in Boston at the MGM Music Hall at Fenway. And we were there on the last day of the event. And
Championship Sunday.
Gotta say, Breach did a very good job on the event for the most part. I wouldn't say they did anything wrong. The venue, on the other hand, didn't really like it too much. We'll say that. Didn't like the layout of it. It's like they tried to pack as much as possible into a very small space. So it does feel very cramped, even in the open areas. And those seats, if you're above if you're above 5'7", I'd say you're gonna have a uncomfortable seating arrangement. And if you're a big boy like me, you can't have someone sitting next to you. It was terrible.
Seats are tiny.
Sitting there for so long, it was uncomfortable. Yeah. The guys in the row in front of us were probably 6'4", 6'5". They had to sit sideways to fit because it was impossible. So Boston, great job, but pick a different venue next time, please.
Sucks too because it's a brand new venue. So
yeah,
not much they can do.
This isn't a venue that was made back in 1850 when everyone was 5'2". You know,
it's barely 6 months old or something.
Yeah. So other than that,
I think good event though.
Boston did a great job, and quick shout out to one of the Boston Breach's very own, Methodz, retiring on the day of the event. It was a very heartfelt retirement. I think everyone was kind of sad. I mean, I've never been the biggest Methodz fan, but it is sad to see people retire from the scene.
Yeah.
You know, I think especially because I guess just the way that the game is set up, it's a new game every year, so you just can't keep up. You know, it's not like Valorant or CSGO or some of these other esports where it's the same game every year, you know. And he's been in it since he was 15, the youngest COD pro ever. At 25, he's retiring. So congrats to Methodz, and hopefully he does great in his content creation.
Go.
But anyway, let's get into this week's losers. First off, no, I'm kidding. Imagine.
Methodz did horrible this week.
No. This week's losers: Seattle Surge continued their losing streak. They went out in their first match of the weekend of the bracket, and Breach, Methodz himself, beat them 3-1, continuing Surge's losing streak. Went from being second place at Major 1 to now, honestly, the worst looking team in the league. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think they need to do something with this team, man. It's sad to see they do this they did this all of last season too, where it's they do amazing and you're like, oh, they're a top competitor, and then they just prove you wrong by doing the absolute worst that they can.
Right.
And they went out so badly this weekend. I don't know what happened, man.
Yeah, I mean, when we look at their map count on this one, I mean, obviously not a very high one. It was a 3-1 loss after all. They only won on Respawn. They did 2-6 on the SND. They are honestly the worst SND team in the entire league. I think
even by stats they are. I'm not 100% on that, but they might be.
I'm pretty sure statistically they are the lowest winning team in SND so far this season. It is painful to watch them play SND because they run around like headless chickens, not knowing what to do. I think they need an SND coach stat.
What if they have one?
If they have one, fire him or her, whoever, fire them, because they need to drastically change on S&D. I mean, anytime I see them play S&D, I almost automatically think they're going to lose.
I also kind of hate that people just blame Mac and accuracy.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think it's the whole team that's
It's
just
the
like they
whole
need
team.
work. We've seen Pred make a bunch of mistakes, and he's one of those like overhyped, not overhyped, but like people
He's
have see a lot of potential in him, right? And he
yes,
does have
yeah,
that potential,
I
but
agree.
he does mess up a lot.
Yeah, no, I mean I agree. I like the whole team. If you watch him play S&D and even on control, sometimes they they run around with the objective of just getting kills, and there's really no game plan. It feels like there are no
Yeah,
tactics. In a way, it just feels like let's just get the kills and try to win that way. Um, and I think that's really their downfall is that they rely heavily on Sib and Pred kind of just frying the entire time. And, Mac and accuracy, especially Mac, sometimes does turn up and also fry, but it's just not enough to be slaying the whole time, you know? At the end of the day, this is an objective heavy competition, And if you're
hmm
not doing anything with the objective, you can't win. Doesn't matter if
yeah,
you're dropping 4.0, 5.0s. I mean, no one's doing that, but I'm hyperbolizing obviously. But if it doesn't matter what Pred
yeah,
does, Pred could go 101, but if there's no objective, they could
yeah.
still lose.
I mean, we've already seen that. They all like this the only game that they had during this major. I think they all had such high kill counts,
Yeah,
and it meant absolutely nothing.
it
So
means nothing. Yeah, I mean, we can look at
pack a
it here.
punch.
Pred still finished with a 1.1. 86 and 78, but what does it matter? You
86.
lose. And accuracy actually went positive, 72 and 70.
What does it matter though?
But what
You
does it matter if you
lose.
lose anyway? Yeah. So we'll see what this team does. At the end of the day, the rumors are
Pack
Pred
a
is still
punch.
going to OpTic. So this season could mean nothing to them at this point.
I wonder if after the season, like if he continues to do really poorly,
Mhm.
you think they'll still believe in him?
Yeah. I mean,
I
look at.
think they will, but
I think they will because it's OpTic. And I think they would rather a star than a
but
good player.
what is Optic gonna do? Are they gonna drop
I think.
someone?
I think really what they're gonna see is whether Hook continues to be average. If Hook ends up being insane for the rest of the season, I think it's going to be a very
Yeah,
hard decision for them to make, and I think it's a decision they probably shouldn't make. If OpTic is able to turn around their season, I don't think they should make a
no reason
change.
to change anything.
And
Yeah,
Pred should look to go to maybe another team where he could, or just stay at Seattle and build a team around Sib and Pred. You know,
yeah.
get better coaches or something. I don't know. There's
I think Seattle just needs some change in coaching style or something because
yeah.
the players themselves are good.
Yeah, I agree. I agree completely. The players are good.
Yeah.
You see accuracy consistently get clutches. He's not always a positive KD player, but he's there when you need him. Mac can be an insane run and gun player. His slay power is there. It's just he's not consistent. And then Sib and Pred, they slay, but they have almost no game IQ. It's like they're just running around shooting. Um, so
Yeah.
I do think if they got a really decent coach in, maybe Rambo.
Imagine.
No, honestly though, I think even Rambo would be able to turn this team around. Rambo is
That's
at the end of the
insane.
day, a pretty good coach. But that's whatever. They do need a good coach. They need a really good coach that can really turn them around, tell them this is what you got to do. And if it means slowing them down and getting them to really think about what they're doing before they do it, that could be it. That's all they need to do. You know.
Yeah. Maybe they're just really bad under pressure.
Yeah, that too.
They just
Um,
don't. I don't know.
and
Yeah.
with that, we brought up OpTic a little bit. Let's move into OpTic. They are not losers, but we just want to talk about their
They are
run.
They were contenders for being losers.
They
Though.
were contenders
That
for.
was-
They looked amazing for a little. Okay, they beat Thieves 3-2. It was a tight game. It was not an easy win for them. Then they lost to Rocker in a 3-0, which insane. They
Insane.
they beat Breach 3-0, which sent Breach out of the major. And then they lose to Thieves, the team that they had
How
sent down to
funny is that?
losers.
Yeah.
And they lose 1-3. I mean, come on.
That
You can't.
match was. It was like, even though they lost 3-1, it was still close. Like
Yeah.
every map was close, which
Listen,
makes it even worse.
and to lose to Thieves at this point in the major is not crazy considering the run that LA Thieves made in the
Yeah,
losers bracket all the way. Look,
that's a
the
little
first hard
teaser.
point was won by OpTic, and it was 250 to 203, and it was that's a decent win. And then the S&D they lost 5-6, which super
They threw
close.
that, I would say,
Yeah,
because
I agree.
it felt like they had it in the bag.
Yeah, and we saw some insane movement from Shotzi in the S&D. I mean, he was moving like a demon in the S&D. Gave us a
His
little,
1v1 versus
you know,
Kenny. I
yeah,
think
it
it
was
was Kenny.
crazy. I think it was Kenny. And then in the control, it was 2-3 in the rounds. I will say, if you look at it, they did not capture enough tiers. It seems like that's where they're kind of lacking in control. Is they're having a huge problem capping tiers. They can get a zone, but it doesn't matter if you can't
Yeah.
get anything on the next one, because let's be real, especially since they almost never veto Fortress, probably one of the hardest control maps. If you're playing
Yeah.
attacking, you gotta be amazing in order to win an
One
attacking round.
one thing they do too is like they'll get like really close to the point and they're just hovering around it and not
Yeah,
actually getting on it, and I guess they're trying to win off kills or something.
yeah. I
But
think
I'm not 100% sure what the strategy is there.
well, because so they hover around, I think mostly for spawns, and also they jump on and off in
Yeah.
order to bait them out and kind of kill the players. But like you said, it does feel like the way that they want to play their control is like, well, if we slay them and take away their lives, we can win that way. But what happens when a team comes out with a fire under them and they're also slaying you, and then nothing works, right? Especially
Yeah.
because the Thieves actually did cap a lot of a lot of tiers in this control. So
And
still,
it gave them the advantage on that
yeah.
round 5 for
Yep,
control. So
exactly. And then the last hard point that knocked them out was unbelievably close at 243 to 250. I mean, come on. Like, you got to close those out. 243, I'm pretty sure I don't remember exactly, but I do believe there was a lead that they lost in order to lose this 243 to 250. It's towards the end they just weren't able to break through onto points anymore. I think maybe Thieves had figured them out, or Thieves were just so good at stacking on the points they couldn't break in anymore.
I don't know what it was, but OpTic always finds a way to make the floptic like meme of reality.
I agree.
Because they get so close and then they just choke at the
I
very
agree.
end of every map, and I don't know how they do
Listen,
it.
I see it. I see the potential. They're right there. It's so close. You know what I mean? They just need to refine a little bit. I think they need to,
Yeah.
in a way, slow it down. Just like I said about Surge, they're too focused on the slaying capability, and they're not as focused on objective, I think, and they need to find a balance.
It's funny too because Dashy is like has been frying kills wise, but he also probably gets the most objectives,
Yeah.
which maybe isn't the best idea.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at
I don't know.
I looked at this series, and Illy actually did do a little bit more objective than he has been doing, because to be honest, he's been lacking in that department, and Dashi has pretty much been doing everything as the main AR, or actually no, he's the flex, I believe. But he did do a little bit more, but I think maybe that could have maybe been what threw them off, that Illy was actually doing objective stuff, and so Dashi was kind of more like, well, out there and trying to get kills. But he was still really, really high on the objective. So I don't know. They have to find a better balance. Go back to the drawing board and see what they can fix, because they need to be able to close out these wins. 243 to 250 is
100%.
very small margin.
100%.
Now moving on to our winners for the weekend. I mean, both teams that we're gonna mention made it to the grand finals. Let's start with the second place. LA Thieves made an insane run. Day one, it was looking bad for them. They lost to OpTic. It was a 3-2 loss, so it wasn't insane. But then they went on a crazy run. First, beating NYSL 3-0. That is not an easy thing to do. I mean, objectively, they were the best team in the league. If you look at NYSL, they were champions for Major 1. They really hadn't lost that much in the qualifiers. I think maybe they finished like 3-2 or 4-1. I don't know. They finished as one of the top teams. Then they go on to beat Ultra also 3-0. I mean, Ultra shambolic on the weekend, I would say. But I
Yeah.
mean, again, lost to Thieves. Thieves were just like kind of mounting that comeback, and everyone was slowly watching it happen. I don't think anyone really predicted it would, go on to this. But then they beat OpTic on Sunday with the 3-1 revenge win. I mean, it's
Yeah, it was just
crazy.
sad to see.
Oh, and
Crazy so far.
then right
It's not even the
after,
end. Yeah.
absolutely smoking Rocker. I mean, it wasn't even close. I like
Yeah.
sitting there. First off, it felt like the fastest series I've ever watched. Or at least this season, it had to be one of the fastest series. The hard point was 250 to 168. The S&D was 6-4, but that first round of the S&D, literally there wasn't
It
even
was like
audio.
2 seconds long, yeah.
Like,
Well, at least not. I don't know how it was on the stream, but
yeah,
in person there wasn't even audio
in
yet.
person there was zero audio, guys.
And then the first round was over.
Yeah.
It was instant.
And then the Control, they won 3-1. I mean, Rocker stood no chance. Thieves were in it for the win. And then they get to the grand final against FaZe. And they only beat FaZe on the 2 hard points that they played out of the 6 matches. 6 maps.
It's funny too, cause like seeing the way that Thieves played against Rocker, I was scared for FaZe because FaZe kind of struggled a little bit against Rocker
They did, yeah.
in the winners final. So I was like, oh, is FaZe about to get smoked by Thieves?
Yeah. And I said
I
it
don't
to
know
you.
why.
I said it to you while we were watching OpTic Thieves right before it started. I was like, if Thieves beat OpTic, they're winning this event. That's what I said to you. And I was like, I mean, I didn't want to see it because I am not the biggest Thieves fan.
As Thieves haters, we didn't want to see that.
Thieves haters, I'm especially a Draza hater. But I didn't want to see it. But I said it. I was like, if they beat OpTic, they're gonna win this whole event. And I mean, I got proven wrong, obviously.
I said trust the process, bro.
I will say it seemed they still played well in the grand final.
Yeah.
I think really what it was a stamina thing. You're playing that many matches to make it to the grand final. It is a lot. And Draza and Kenny, especially Draza, I mean, Draza looked amazing in the matches leading up to the grand final. And then he kind of just wasn't there.
It's funny too because I think Envoy and Octane are like the opposite. They seem like they kept getting better and better.
Yeah.
It's kind of ridiculous.
I mean, when they did the listen for their comms, Octane was even joking around, and the crowd was like laughing because he goes, "Oh wait, that's our comms up there." Like
Yeah.
Draza last in that grand final was just barely there, and Kenny, honestly, we keep saying this, he's just not good enough for Thieves. He's just not good
And
enough.
it just keeps YYing.
I don't care what anyone says. Kenny is overrated. He's such an overrated player. He's just not
Yeah.
who people think he was before,
I think honestly, Capsule has way more potential
Yeah.
than Kenny. Maybe he's not like the best player yet, but there's just so much potential in Capsule, and it's sad to see that they're not going to utilize him probably ever again.
Listen, the beginning of Vanguard, Capsule was one of my favorite players. Like, I looked forward to watching Boston just because of Cap. Like, just seeing him go absolutely insane. Like, Capsule has so much potential, especially since he's so young compared to everyone else. I mean, you get him in and then you just teach him and to kind of take him under the wing of, like, one of the veterans. He could be the next star in the CDL. But is that going to happen?
It's a friends
Probably not.
league.
It's a friends league, and he doesn't seem to be super best friends with anyone in the league. So, I don't see it happening. But Kenny, in my opinion, is not good enough for this Thieves team. I mean, and you could see it in the grand final. He just wasn't there. He didn't really do anything. And don't get me wrong, there were a few times where he got some clutch plays, but he was still not the best player on the team on the weekend. It was Kenny.
Yeah.
I mean, it was Envoy or Octane. Both of them were literally insane. Especially Envoy. Envoy was
he was disgusting.
And Octane was an amazing. Honestly, Octane is one of the best objective players in the league, hands down. I love Octane.
And I feel like he's not even really fully trying.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if he really, really put in the work, he'd be insane.
Yeah,
Like, more insane.
So, I mean, look, they still made it to second place, which is great for them. I mean, it kind of shows, they're still there. They need to make some changes. I think biggest change, drop Kenny, bench him.
Pack a punch.
Yeah, and then get someone good in, someone that can actually keep up and someone that's consistent. Kenny to me is not even a top 10 player. You know,
He's not a top 48.
yeah. Anyway, moving on to our actual, like, our top winner. FaZe,
Chicken
baby,
dinner.
finally break their top 3 curse. In the last six events, they finished second, third. Insane run. Finally get that dub.
The difference was I wore my FaZe hoodie. That was the difference.
And I matched with my girlfriend in our hoodies, our FaZe hoodies, baby.
FaZe. It was the FaZe merch differential.
Yeah, FaZe merch differential. I mean, they looked amazing. Like, it's like you said, right? We were like, they might struggle against Thieves watching them play up to the grand final. Especially because to me, especially Slasher just did not look like that guy. He just wasn't that guy. And
he proved you wrong.
what did he do? He shut me up, bro. He shut me up. Made me my own words. I mean, in this grand final, Slasher looked amazing. He looked like a top 5
He did
player.
really good.
You know what I mean?
He actually did. I was actually surprised because I was in the same boat where I thought Slasher was underperforming.
Yeah.
But he showed up where he needed to.
I mean, yeah, to be fair, he showed up where it mattered, you know? Like, you know,
Exactly.
qualifiers is whatever, but in a grand final, you know, you got to show up, and he did. He was that guy. He had so many clutch
FaZe
moments.
went undefeated.
Yeah.
Straight through the whole event.
Bro, he had some clutch moments. He had some 1v2s in some of the S&Ds, even just some important 1v2s, 1v3s in control. I mean, he was crazy. I would say it was a pretty even matchup, but I don't know. Thieves, I guess, I will say, and we've said this before, the amount of games you have to play leading up to the grand final, especially through the losers run, it's a lot. It can be a lot.
It is a lot, yeah.
So, you know, you lose stamina, and it happens. To play 3 games back to back is a lot.
But for some reason, it seems like Thieves does better when they're under those circumstances than when they're not. Like,
True.
when they have it easy for whatever reason, they do worse, you know?
Yeah. Just putting this out there, I mean, everyone on FaZe went positive in this series. And that's a very rare thing to see in this game, for the entire team to go positive. And usually when a team goes positive completely overall, it means that they had an amazing series. Everyone got an insane amount of hill time on the hard points. They played like absolute demons. I mean, watching the Tiny Terrors just tear it up, just out in open play. Celium was getting insane
both got
angles.
100+ kills too.
Yeah.
Easy and
then Slasher was just there when at the perfect moment. Like, his COD timing, insane.
Yeah.
On the
also
first
him.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh,
No,
I was gonna jump into the a little bit of the statistics per map here.
Yeah.
Slasher on the first S&D, 25 and 19. On the first hard point. My bad. 25 and 19, 1.32 KD with over a minute of hill time still. That's insane. That's a lot of hill time.
That is a lot of hill time.
Considering he slayed. What were you gonna say?
He has this spot on I think it's Mercado, where it's like the top of the stairs inside that little I don't know what it is, like a little warehouse type thing.
Yeah. The workshop.
I feel like he just fries up there, and no one stops him for.
Yeah, that's
like
right.
He got stopped maybe a few times, but then he just goes right back.
He goes
there
right
and then
back.
He fries again.
Yeah. So at one point I was like, wait, how did he just get back? Didn't he just die? How is he back up there again? I mean,
I don't know. It seems like I don't know why no one could read that either.
Yeah,
he kept doing it. He was up there consistently.
Yeah. So he went insane on that hard point, right? Then on the first S&D, Simp went nutty, 14 and 4, 3.5 KD. I mean, that's disgusting. He only died 4 times in that entire S&D. Then in the control, we had Celium, who did 29 and 16 with a 1.81, and he captured 6 tiers, which is a lot. Then in the second S&D, Abizi hit a 12 and 8 with a 1.5 and 3 first bloods. I mean, that was a lot. That was a lot of the talk for that S&D as well. Was if Abizi gets the first blood, they're winning the round. I mean, it was him and Envoy just also racing for first blood.
In those S&Ds, I gotta give respect to Celium and Slasher. They were consistently last alive, and they were clutching like crazy. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was insane.
yeah, yeah. And then on the last control, I mean, it was a wash. um, but Celium got an 18 and 6, a BZ 17 and 10, Slasher 17 and 7. Now Simp did go 9 and 11, but he also had the most tiers captured for the zone. So it seemed like he was doing a little bit more objective play, and he still went 9 and 11, which is still a really good KD, I would say, to only 2 more deaths than kills. But still, for Selim to get a 3.0, Slasher a 2.43, a BZ
The
a
3.0 is
1.7
crazy.
on a control, I mean,
Yeah.
FaZe decided, let's take it easy the rest of the games. Let's just win them and then go absolutely insane in the grand final. It was amazing to watch, especially live. Especially live. I jumped out of my seat.
Especially because it was like no FaZe fans.
Yeah, I mean,
It was funny.
the one thing, and this has happened in a lot of like concerts too, since we go to a lot of concerts. It's a lot of people go like that leave because they're there for one band, and then they leave because they don't want to see
That
anything
was
else. And
OpTic.
I will say I didn't like seeing that like half of, at least in the seats you didn't see it, but in the mezzanines, like half the people left the second OpTic got knocked out. Like literally in front of us, like 2 rows just got up and walked away. And that was just in our section. In the other sections, you could see rows upon rows of empty seats. Like you literally could have just got up and sat anywhere else you wanted.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess like you said, for locals, maybe they don't really care too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're not locals, so
yeah.
I thought it was good to stay the whole thing to make
make
it worth the money.
Yeah. And I mean, it was worth it. I mean,
I wanted FaZe to win too, so
I mean, I was definitely, I wanted OpTic to win. It would have been nice.
Yeah.
But once they crashed out, I was like, you know what? I want FaZe to go through it. I mean, from the beginning, and I said this in the last episode, I really wanted to see Legion. Well, guys, we don't know what happened, but it seems our video stopped recording for a little bit there.
Technical difficulties.
I had said I wanted Legion to win. Didn't happen. I'm happy to see FaZe win. You wanted FaZe to win. They broke their streak.
I wanted FaZe to win mostly after OpTic lost.
Yes.
I really, if we had gotten that FaZe OpTic final, I wouldn't have cared who won. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, no, I agree. I completely agree with you. And like you said before it shut off, or after it stopped recording, there could be a rivalry now between Thieves and FaZe, since it seems Thieves can't really beat them. Simp shot a body,
shooting bodies. Yeah.
It was great to see, and Simp is in the running now for the Mount Rushmore of COD players. One of the GOATs. I mean, he's a 9-time champ, 2-time world champ. He has an average placing of 2.35, which is number 1 of all time. He's ridiculous. A 2-time MVP. He's a 3-time All-Star, and he's had finals appearances in 74% of his career events. That means that in almost 3 out of 4 events, he's always in the finals.
That's insane, right? And he's so new.
And he's young,
Yeah.
So insane stats for the man, and I mean, it's gonna be crazy to see where he ends up. I mean, he could end up surpassing anything Crim and Scump has done. Yeah. I mean, nothing will ever top what Crim and Scump did for the scene as faces, but statistically, I think
you also gotta think about like Simp and a BZ, because Simp's getting all the stats. I'm sure, I don't know what a BZ stats are, but like them as a duo is like
yeah,
it's insane.
We got Scump is Messi, Crim is Ronaldo, and Simp is Holland.
Faded takes alert.
I wouldn't say Mbappe, but because Mbappe's overrated. Anyway,
faded take alert.
We also did say, maybe in the next major we see OpTic win. It is at home. That's where
Fingers
they won.
Crossed.
That is where they won last season. Was at home. So, maybe we could see OpTic, figure out their kinks and actually win in this next major.
If it's not OpTic, it better be Legion.
Yeah, facts. Honestly, OpTic Legion final. Ooh, that'd be fire. And anyway, that's where we're gonna end today's episode, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Let us know Let us know who you think, what roster changes are going to be made now after Major 2 is
Major
done.
2. That's facts. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. So let us know in the comments below what teams you think need to make changes and who you think they should pick up and drop. And also, don't forget to subscribe. Again, 69% of you, nice, are not subscribed. And help us get to 69 subscribers. Until next time.
Please.
Peace, guys.
Peace.